Aren't there cases where the Supreme Court has intervened? It has overruled the lower courts and said this is what needs to be done. In this case, the president of the country is asking for an opinion and the court says, sorry, civil court will tell me.
Yes.
Is it palatable?
For me, it isn't. And thanks to my good friend Jay Sai, I have won the criminal contempt of court, so I can be a little bit more freer than I was probably 2 weeks ago. No, but Anand, to be very serious, a couple of points to be made here. And first of all, it's such an honor to be sitting next to, well, everyone here, but especially Vishnu. Every time I meet him, there is an aura and an energy that I can't explain that he transmits. So thank you. Maybe it's coming from you, of your father as well, Vishnu. So it really is a pleasure and an honor. Anand, I personally feel that we need to thank in no small measure the Islamist extremists of this country for the consecration or building of the Ram temple. Because had it not been for their protests against the Supreme Court Shah Bano judgment, had it not been Rajiv Gandhi and the Congress trying to appease them, the locks of Ram Lalla would never have been opened.
But that was a court order. Why would there be a political motive to it?
Vishnu is...
Pranab Mukherjee has written in his book,
Yes.
The Turbulent Years, page number 128, and I challenged it in the court. He said that Rajiv Gandhi की बहुत बड़ी गलती थी राम मंदिर का ताला खुलवाने की. I challenged it in the Delhi High Court and I said, and you know who filed the petition? Petition was filed by Mr. Umesh Pandey. He said, on my petition these locks have been opened. How can Rajiv Gandhi open the locks? So what you are trying to portray that the Rajiv Gandhi called the honorable judges and get the locks opened. It was by the order of the court. Justice K.M. Pandey has opened the locks.
Under Congress rule, under Rajiv Gandhi and all, courts were independent.
Yeah. So that's what.
It is under the current disposition that the courts are being influenced.
The democracy has been sold out, and we've lost the democracy of the institutions of Supreme Court. No. So anyway, I mean, it's as they say, 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. The fact of the matter is there are 2 points I'd like to make. One is civilizational, and it is. Let me deal with that first. I think it's very unbecoming of our leaders to not recognize this as not a Hindu or a Muslim issue. It is a civilizational issue.
Correct.
It's got nothing to, our ancestors were hard done by. They demanded justice. They were meted out a historical injustice. For 500 years, 20 generations, they were forced to look at a mosque where a temple stood before 20 generations. And I just don't mean our ancestors, meaning ancestors of 1 billion Hindus, ancestors of 250 million Muslims, Indian Muslims as well. They were all the same. So for political parties, and I commend the BJP for taking this struggle up, and Shiv Sena as well, that must not be forgotten, Bala Saheb Thackeray.
Yeah.
And I don't know if any other party, Amanji would probably illuminate me, other than BJP and the Shiv Sena, if they took forward this struggle. I doubt it. But I find it inexplicable that these so-called secular centrist parties did not take part in this struggle at all. What can be worse than that?
But abhi to Pranab Da ne kaha ki Rajiv Gandhi ne tala khulwaya. You said that was a turning point.
Well, I was being extremely cynical there, because he wouldn't have done it had he not wanted to appease the Hindus after he had appeased the Muslims. So it was a direct result of overturning the Shah Bano judgment. But coming back to the civilizational issue, and you've already called me correctly a Darwinian atheist, so I don't have any skin in the religious game, let me put it, be very honest. But this is one of the most important matters as far as I'm concerned, as far as every Indian is concerned. So for Congress to say this is a Hindu issue, for Mulayam Singh to say it's not a Hindu-Muslim issue at all. And I want to extend that, because now comes the second part, which is the virtue signaling by the Supreme Court. I'm sorry to say this. Itself, and Vishnu would corroborate me, in the 2019 Ayodhya judgment, where was the need for the Supreme Court, I know you maybe are not in a position to comment, to ratify the Places of Worship Act, to say that this speaks great for our nation, this is going to protect the secular and fabric of our country. Where was the need to do that? That is, in my words, another appeasement, because the Supreme Court realized it's going to give 5-0 judgment in favor of the so-called Hindus, So it has to balance it out
No, but
and
why
now
do-
disallow
why-
any other legal demand to reclaim a Hindu place
No,
of
but
worship.
why should it be? Why should it be? Because if there are two lawyers sitting here,
Yes.
you have gone through a certain legal process, and you would see that if you read the Places of Worship Act 1991,
Yes.
you would first look at it and say it should be void ab initio.